Welcome to the WP Builds podcast, bringing you the latest news from the WordPress community. Now, welcome your hosts, David Wormsley and Nathan Wrigley. Hello and welcome again to the WP Builds podcast. This is episode number 70, entitled Using Viral Marketing to Grow Your Audience with Savvas Zortikis from Viral Loops. It was published on the 5th of April 2018. My name's Nathan Wrigley from pictureandword.co.uk, a small web development agency based in the north of England. And I'll be joined a little bit later by David Wormsley from davidwormsley.com. Please, if you feel like sharing the podcast, go over to the wpbuilds.com website and you can click on the buttons. Reviews on iTunes are always very welcome, especially if they're 5-star reviews. Join the Facebook group, wpbuilds.com/Facebook. To subscribe to the newsletter, it's /subscribe. To advertise on our podcast, it's /advertise. And we've also got the podcast episodes now on YouTube at wpbuilds.com/YouTube. Okay, just before we start, a couple of things to mention. We had a competition for Wallace Inline, 3 lifetime licenses for that plugin from Bradley Kirby. Now, we closed that today and we found our 3 winners. So it's Matt Pirani, Brenda Malone and Kevin Price. Now, I've passed on your email addresses to Bradley, so hopefully he'll be getting in touch with you really soon. Well done and thanks for entering. We've got a new competition started already, actually, and that's for 3 licenses for the Smart Slider 3 plugin. Now, you'll hear more about that plugin on the podcast in the next few weeks, but we do have 3 licenses to give away. So if you go to wpbuilds.com/win, you can win one of the 3 single domain licenses, which is very cool. So yeah, go over there, share it all over the place and increase your chances of winning because, as you've just heard, people actually do win things. It's not made up. Okay, in a little while, we'll get to the interview with Savvas Zortikis from Viral Loops. It's actually the same software. It's a SaaS app, and it's the software that I'm actually using to power the competition. So when you go to the /win page and enter any of our competitions, you'll actually be using Savvas's Viral Loops SaaS app in order to enter, and it enables us to capture those email addresses and allows you to share it to increase your chances of winning. So he's going to come on and talk all about viral marketing and what that means and how it can best be achieved. Really nice guy, really worth listening to. We've also got, right at the very end, should you include your telephone number on your homepage, the little ending fact with David and I. But right now, we'll go straight over and start our discussion. David and I are going to be talking about, should we become wedded to one set of tools? I really hope that you enjoy this week's podcast. Thanks for listening.
Today's topic is, should we be wedded to one set of tools for building our sites? To be honest, this is something that came out of the WP Builds Facebook group, because there was a conversation more about how many page builders that we need, because there's conversations about Beaver Builder and Elementor in there, and some people use both or some people just use one. So we've sort of branched it out to tools in the general sense of the word. So Nathan, are you somebody like me who likes to sort of build up one stack of tools for all projects?
Yeah, I actually am, and some part of me thinks it's kind of human nature to do this. So, for example, you've got flame wars, haven't you, between Android and iPhone users and this kind of thing. And people start to use something and they become familiar with it. And once you've decided that this thing works very well, you somehow, because you've invested so much time in it, you often kind of have the impression that you're correct in your decision to use this, and also every other thing that comes along mustn't be as good.
Yes.
I think that's normal, and so I do. So I've got a whole suite of things which I trust and rely upon, right down from my computer to my server software to the IDE that I use, all of those kind of things, and then it extends itself obviously now to WordPress itself. And then all the plugins that I put on top. Some of them some of the things that I'm wedded to, over time I will change my opinion on it, and usually the opinion is changed because of some authority person that I trust saying this is actually something worth looking at. But often I'm quite incapable of moving because I'm happy. What about you?
Yes. Yeah, that's how well, you know what? When I started off, I kind of just, when anything, each sort of project I needed to do, I'd see if I could find something that would make it easy. And then that went wrong for me, because I didn't choose wisely. So I spent more time as I got more professional, picking my tools. And then I thought that's the way I got to go. But, you just said something really interesting. It reminds me of something that was mentioned about human behavior when it comes to tools, because we are quite protective about our tools, and they are the best when we've chosen them. But there was a thing about when people predict the end of the world and it doesn't happen. It's really after it doesn't happen that those people who believed it would be the end of the world are more adamant about their belief, more so than they were before they'd been proved to be wrong. And it's interesting. I think it's in our human nature, isn't it, to defend our decisions against all the odds.
Yes, absolutely. So, I made a decision a long time ago that that Microsoft was evil, for example. This sort of stuff, and then I switched to the Mac, and of course, it's just rubbish. There's nothing wrong with Microsoft at all. But I'm now on Mac, and I have this sort of slightly evangelical look in my eye when I talk to people about why they should have a Mac, as if I've got here by some divine right, and look scornfully down on those who dare to use a Windows computer. Utter hogwash, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'm being very spurious, by the way. I don't condescend quite as badly as that, but you know how it goes. So in my situation, for example, I use an IDE called Coda. Now, Coda is it's quite old, actually. It's been around for ages, and I'm sure that there are better tools. And for example, I keep hearing great things about this thing called Sublime Text, which is supposed to be a really great IDE. And I've just got this inertia, and I'm wedded to my Coda. I know it works very well, and I don't really need to change, so I don't. So I think I've got inertia. I can't really find the time to change, but also I'm kind of thinking, well, what I've got's fine. Why should I bother? And of course, you shouldn't you? That's the reality, is that you should move on from a product which has been superseded to something which is measurably better.
Yeah, and I don't know the balance for this for me, because it took me a while to get to the fact that I need to concentrate on learning deeply the tools I have. I thought I can serve my clients best that way, but I certainly know I have been behind the trend. I mean, I guess a lot of people who, when Beaver Builder came out, particularly as a sort of new page builder, I'm sure a lot of people were quite a few years, and still are a few years behind us, not realizing that page builders are not all evil.
Yeah.
And that's moved on one step further, because we've got great competition in those page builders that are good.
Yep.
There was a point, and I don't know what it was.
Oh no! It doesn't really matter. But the principle being, I bet every single person listening to this has a set of default things that they just go to. So for example, let's say you've just installed a site and you need some sort of backup solution. There's going to be one thing that you go to first, whether it's Updraft or Backup Body or server backups or whatever. That's your thing. That's the way you do it. You know it. You've got your mojo. You just click the buttons and you find your way around the UI in a few seconds, and that's fine. It works. But who's got the time to go looking at the latest new tools? But we do all have this fear of missing out, and we all want to be on the latest thing. But I don't think you'd get any work done in the day if you spent your entire time trying to find the absolutely definitively best thing for anything. Excuse me, the best computer, the best IDE, the best plugin, the best CMS, and you're not going to find it. I think you've got it exactly right. Decide on a set of things, stick with them, learn them, And then maybe just branch out once in a while to find a new backup plugin or a new, I don't know, pop-up plugin or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I do tend to get attracted to conversations because it has paid off really. Jumping on a new technology, certainly page builders, and jumping onto that just speeded up and changed the nature of what I was going to be doing. It was so painful to build sites. If a client wanted to make a change before, with Genesis, it used to be registering widgets and then adding some CSS to those to arrange things. Now we just drag and drop in a row and add in the content. And that, for those people who hadn't caught on to that, you've got a real advantage over them. But I have, the other side of it now is trying to be a proper business, as I'm working towards at the moment. I need to make better training videos for my clients to help them along the way. I want to be able to train other people to use the tools that I use, and I've got to maintain them as well. So the more tools I have to maintain, the more updates there's going to be. There's more likelihood of me having to problem solve for the same money.
Yeah. I mean, do you find that you literally become wedded to particular things, I guess it's like anything. It's like a comfortable old pair of shoes. You've used it for so long, you've become familiar with it, that you kind of become a bit blinkered, and what's the right word? I don't know what the right word is. Never mind. You become entrenched. Let's go for that. And you refuse to look elsewhere because you've convinced yourself that this thing is better than that thing.
Yeah, I really do question myself a lot on these things. So I think, that's my redeeming feature. But I get kind of passionate about the tools I have, and I think they're the best. But yeah.
So a good example in both of our cases is the use of a page builder, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is going to be hard for us both to say, but let's say it anyway. Let's talk about it. We've both become big users of Beaver Builder, and we've become advocates for that to some extent. And you have produced an awful lot of very handsome videos explaining how it works in all of its ways. And so, would you ever change that position? Would you ever sort of move away to something else? Or do you find that because you've put so much effort into it and produced so much content, you would feel a certain sense of shame, perhaps, in moving away and using something else?
Yeah, I guess I would. Maybe not so much shame, but I would. To be honest, at the moment, I'm reasonably happy with the tools, and so page builders, I'm fine, because I guess with the Beaver Builder, for me, the thing that ticked the box wasn't so much the features that they brought in the first place, but was the team behind it in that case, and their sensibilities for reliability and not bringing in change for the sake of it. And that, because I was moving towards a sort of 80% maintenance type business, that ticked all the boxes. So at the moment, I don't have that dilemma because it's serving what I need at the moment. But obviously, I'm looking to let's mention the name, to Elementor, and seeing, because there are so many people very excited about what that's offering there. So you have to keep an eye on it. At the moment, there's no dilemma for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is a new situation for me, in that until we launched this podcast, all of the decisions about these plugins and things like that were entirely in my own head. And so if I swapped, let's say, Page Builder or IDE, nobody would know, really, and I would just do it. In your case, you've made an awful lot of videos about Beaver Builder, so you've kind of moved down that road a long way and become a bit of an authority. So that's quite new, isn't it? And I've made a lot of podcast episodes now, and we've talked about Beaver Builder a lot. So it's kind of put ourselves in the public domain a little bit. Yes. So there is a reluctance to move away, if you like, from something which you've already endorsed so readily.
But do you know what? I don't think for either of us that would be too much because in a way, just stick it on my channel. And, interesting, I was talking about Astra on one of my videos recently, which, is not Beaver Builder theme, because it's coming up as something I would use for one project. And I think it would move like that. It would just be like it would be with you. It's a story of your changing life, isn't it? If they, so it might surprise some people, I guess, if they associate you with stuff. But It's interesting now. This is what in a way, I love that debate about particularly Beaver Builder and Elementor, even though it's quite difficult for us because things are changing, and we've got those new page builders like Astra, and we've got the WP page builder framework as well, and they're designed to allow you to slot in whatever page builder you like, and that's what some people are doing, and I just think, well, maybe they're onto something there,
making it available to everybody with whatever tool they've brought to bear on it. Yeah, it's a good point. What we should do now, is go through a list of all the things that we use and which have become our favourite, because that would really cement us, wouldn't it, in that arena? So let's go for it. What host do you use?
Okay. Well, two. It's now I've moved to Cloudways, and I also have DigitalOcean with Server Pilot.
Okay. I'm using OVH for my own server, and I use WP Engine for client sites quite a lot as well. Right. What about computer? What have you got?
Well, it's my Dell laptop running Windows 10.
I've got a MacBook Pro, which is really old now and getting a bit frail. I probably should update it at some point soon. CMS of choice, WordPress, I take it?
Yes, of course.
Backup plugin?
Two again. Backup Buddy, because I bought a lifetime deal, but I use it for migration mostly, and I use Updraft for actually sending things off into Amazon. Yeah,
I'm on the server. I'm using Plesk, which is the sort of default server software that handles it all, and then I use Backup Buddy a lot. And I tried Updraft Plus. Updraft, I guess it's not called Plus when you're just on the free one, the other day, and I quite like that. So here's maybe a good example of where I will sort of shift over. Okay, what about Forms software? Do you use any plugins for Forms?
Gravity Forms.
Yep, I'm there as well. I did dabble once, I think, with WP Forms, but it was absolute inertia. I just thought, this is probably every bit as good, but I don't have the time, so I'm going to stay with Gravity Forms. What other generic? Security. Do you handle security via a plugin?
Oh gosh, yeah. And I don't know. This is the thing. I said it on some of my other videos when I show a plugin list. It's been word fencing there at the moment, but I'm not sure I like it because I just don't understand security enough, and it's quite a heavy plugin. So yeah.
Well, I've got word fence on a few sites, and I've also got iThemes security, and really all I use that for is just to lock down the login page, so that you've got to use a two-factor authentication, and so on. What other common plugins are there? IDE. What IDE do you use? What do you use to FTP or SSH or whatever?
Yeah, well, it's just the free FileZilla that I use when I'm sending up files, and when I'm just doing CSS stuff. It's just I use Stylizer.
Yep. I use, as I said, I use Coda, and I use the Mac terminal quite a bit. I end up getting in the terminal quite a lot and opening that up to do things like zipping up things and copy them onto my local computer and stuff like that. What else? What other crucial things do we have?
We're on the same with the Page Builder, but
there you go, Page Builder. I mean, obviously the one for us at the minute is Beaver Builder, but I think chomping at its heels is Elementor. Caching. Okay, so I am using WP. I couldn't think then using WP Rocket.
Snap.
Yeah, but that I don't know about that, because the pricing is, well, I think the pricing's okay. I'm getting confused between two plugins. No, the WP Rocket pricing is okay. What about things like, do you have licenses for Facet WP, that kind of thing?
No, but again, because of the pricing structure for that one, it's only used on a site and got to be another one. So it's up to the client now. So it's one that at the moment I'd recommend for those kind of jobs. But
what about creating custom post types and custom post type fields, that kind of thing?
Yeah, this is where it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've really just moved into using ACF, and I use two methods either. I can put it in manually, the code to create the custom post types, or I use custom post type. What's
UI.
it called? UI. That's it. So that's typically what I'm using. But I'm flirting with pods.
Yes, pods. I'm right on the edge of. I never seem to dip my foot entirely in the water there. Don't know why, but I use ACF. That would be my default. And I have used Toolset in the past. And there's always Toolset's one of those funny ones for me, because there's always something happening in the news which makes me think, oh, you know what, that I should relook at that, because what was it the other day? Was it Astra announced some sort of integration with Toolset, or what am I thinking of? Was it Elementor?
Elementor.
You see,
yes.
that suddenly makes me think Elementor. Toolset. Could be an interesting, because I know Toolset quite well. That might, and so it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've probably listed everything conceivable there, haven't we?
We have.
We've never done that though. That's quite surprising that we've gone through all these podcasts all these years, a couple of years almost, and we never really talked about what we've got on our own sites.
I know, but also just going through those ones just makes me realise that many of those are still. I'm not wedded to them,
no,
because I like the pods thing.
Yep.
If I really get into pods, could be the end of, or I might use both.
Yeah, and also quite interesting that we've got striking similarities. There's an awful lot of stuff which is very similar. And that's probably because of where we frequent online, and we share our experiences with people who do the same work as us, and usually something, or one or two things, rise to the top, and then you just have to cherry pick and then have a flame war for the rest of the day, telling everybody how much better what you decided was.
I kind of want everything to stop for a little while, actually, because I need to get my business sorted out. So I just want people to stop innovating at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. I can't imagine what else I really need at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the world revolves around you. We should all stop. Everybody stop. Put your pencils down. And just give David a month to cut. I think, though, that's a good point. I mean, you do find yourself in a struggle with this all the time. It is a bit of a time suck. So ultimately, I think it's a good idea to become wedded to some tools because you get good at them. But also, you should probably have one eye slightly fixed on the horizon and thinking about what's coming around the corner. Because if something really good did come along, you'd be crazy to not use it. Are we done?
I think so.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right. In which case, we will say ta-ta from the discussion and we'll go into the interview. Hello and welcome to the interview part of the podcast. Today I have Savvas Zortikis, who is on the call. Now, I'm not sure, actually, if he's in Greece at the moment or if he's in America, because just before we started, he said that he lives in both places. And he's coming to us today to talk about a SaaS product, which is a bit of a departure. So, hi there. How are you?
Hi, Nathan. I'm so happy to be here today.
Good. Well, he's come on because a little while ago, going back a few months, as you may know, I am completely addicted to AppSumo. And AppSumo had a deal on, which I got hold of, for something called Viral Loops. Now, Viral Loops is utterly fabulous, frankly, but I'm not going to do it justice if I explain it. So I'm going to hand straight over to Savvas so that he can tell us what it is and what it does. So over to you for a little brief introduction, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. So Viral Loops is a viral and referral marketing platform that you can use to drive word-of-mouth growth for your website or app. So how it works is that we are a template-based platform, meaning that we take the best referral programs out there, like the ones inspired by Dropbox, by Airbnb, by Harris. We offer giveaways, referral programs, and this kind of stuff. And you can just put a code in your website and, take it off.
Yeah, so I guess the traditional marketing channels, they've been exhausted and done to death. We've all got the emails and all of that kind of stuff. I use a very similar idea for the competitions that we run on WP Builds. And I suppose the idea is that I simply use one of the templates that you have, which is the sort of the giveaway one, if you like. Let me just get the name of the tempting giveaway. And the idea with that is that, we offer something from a contributor, a WordPress plugin developer or something like that. And the idea is that people submit their emails and then they're encouraged to share it on things like Facebook and Twitter and so on. And the more people share it, the more chance you have of winning. And it's very, very effective. So how on earth did you end up deciding that this was something you wanted to build? Of all the things that you were scanning around for, the business opportunities that you wanted, why this one?
Yeah, so I'm coming from the marketing automation industry, and I started one of the first growth marketing agencies 3 years ago. So what I've seen is that a lot of clients and a lot of companies, when they starting, they choose, for example, the traditional marketing channels like the ones you've mentioned, like Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing, and it's really difficult to get new users, new customers on a reasonable customer acquisition cost. And then for example, they may come up with the idea of running a referral program like the Dropbox did. They do it, they launch it, but they see no results. And the reason behind that is that you need, if you want to run a successful referral program, you need to make something really tailor-made to your needs, to your business, and to your customers. So it doesn't mean that because Dropbox did it, it will work for your own company. In the past, I was designing and implementing custom solutions for my customers. I was using a lot of tools, a lot of platforms out there, but I had the experience and the knowledge as a marketer. So when I was discussing that with my co-founder, Theo, we thought, okay, why don't we create a product, make a product that has this experience in the product itself, and small and medium businesses that don't have thousands of dollars to spend every month on their marketing budget to build a successful referral program to make word of mouth actually work for them. So we came up with the idea of the templates, and we started, for example, with the tempting giveaway, with a leaderboard giveaway inspired by Jet, with the Dropbox referral program, or with the Airbnb for e-commerce and marketplaces. We made everything preset and pre-configured, and depending on the need that a customer has, he can choose a specific template to run. So this is the first step that we took in order to ensure that this campaign will be successful for that company. So basically, we came up with the idea, okay, we want to make referral marketing and word of mouth actually work for small and medium businesses.
I'm really taken by the product. I should say at the moment I'm looking at the screen, and there are eight different templates. Maybe in the future that'll change, and in fact you've just described a sort of change that you're possibly going to be making. But I do like the idea that one size doesn't fit all, because the way that I've always used these viral giveaways is literally that, is to have a prize which has come to me through the grace of plugin developers, and then offer that in exchange for emails. And very simply, once the duration of the competition has run out, I select quite at random the winner or winners, and then that's it. It's over, and we move on to another one. Perhaps you could take us through how some of these templates that you've got are different from, okay, here's a product that you want to get your hands on, enter your email and win or don't win. How do these templates differ to that? Is there a sort of subtle or more obvious difference in some of them?
Yeah, so the tempting giveaway that you just described, you're using a similar campaign. So this is, it works, like this. So our own template works like this. Yeah. But for example, you run this campaign and you're using this concept because you want to build an email list. And many times the problem, for example, with that concept is that a lot of people run a giveaway, let's say for a month or for 3 weeks, and then it ends, right? So you don't have a way of continuously building your email list through referrals and word of mouth.
Right.
And you can either come up with a new reward, or you can stop it and wait, let's say for a month, and then launch again the same competition, maybe with a different price. So, for example, what we've seen is that there is a nice email newsletter called The Hustle that they based their whole email list growth on a milestone referral program, as we call it. And why we call it the milestone? Because it has specific tiers, specific milestones. And how it works is that the more friends you invite, the better perks you unlock. So this is a long-term campaign and not just a competition that you can use to build your email list continuously. So, for example, we have a template inspired by Harry's, which is an e-commerce website.
Yeah, I know it. Is it shaving and things?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
They're based in New York.
Yeah.
And they've run a pre-launch campaign with a milestone concept. So we took that idea and we also saw the campaign from The Hustle, and we created a template that you can use to build your email list, not just for 1 month, but you can have rewards that you can give all the time. Of course, taking into account your customer acquisition cost and everything around that.
Right.
And you can run it on the long run and not just for 1 month. So basically how it works is that if, for example, someone invites a friend and this friend subscribes to your email list, the referrer will get a reward, let's say a t-shirt or some stickers or an exclusive access to a community or something. So you can come up with different rewards and different milestones, and you can build your email list all the time, actually.
So this would work very, very well for us as WordPress people to recommend as an engine for, well, specifically WooCommerce websites or e-commerce websites where the client, if you like, has got a raft of products that they're selling through the site which we've built for them. And then you could demonstrate, okay, if you're prepared to spend a little bit of your budget each month on giving away some free products, we can set up this milestone system, or we could give away one great big prize in order to do the tempting giveaway. And that's brilliant, yeah. And I'm guessing the reason that you're in business is because you know that this actually does work.
Yeah. So just to mention here is that, for example, it's something that works perfectly for e-commerce websites, as you mentioned, like WooCommerce, but it also works for blogs. And just to give you some ideas, is that a lot of people say to me that, okay, Savvas, I don't have a prize to give, or I don't have a lot of budget to spend, right? And as a startup, at least when we started 1 year ago, we had the same issue, but still we want to keep our budget low, right, on spending on marketing.
Of course.
So what you can do, for example, is that with the milestone referral program, is that you can give us rewards, exclusive content, for example. So, and it's something that really, really works. So you can give exclusive PDF guides. You can record some interviews with some influencers or experts that you can send them only to those people that reach a specific milestone. Or you can have, let's say, a private webinar or an ebook or something like that.
Yes.
So what I'm mentioning is that it doesn't mean that you need to have an e-commerce website, but it really works if you do content marketing, email marketing, if you have a blog. So, for example, in Viral Loops, in the next few weeks, we're launching our own milestone referral, and we will include in the rewards exclusive content with growth hacks on how you can actually grow your referral campaigns.
I get it. So it really, in the way that I've been using it, I've got a thing to give away already. It's in my back pocket, if you like, and I've got it, and I'm willing to give it away. What you're saying is you don't need a thing to give away. You could give away content that hasn't yet been written, an ebook that hasn't yet been written, on the promise that in the future this stuff will come. You send some referrals our way, and in the future, when we write all these amazing blog posts and ebooks and what have you, you'll get access to those on an exclusive basis. Does Viral Loops actually distribute that stuff for you, or is that something you would have to take to a third-party solution and email them separately yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it depends on the rewards. So, for example, if you want to give a PDF guide or some exclusive content that you have it, let's say, on a hidden URL somewhere in the web. We have an automated emails that are being sent when a milestone is reached or when a successful referral happens. So all you have to do is that you should put these links on our email. So we do all the job and you don't have to do anything manually.
Great.
And something that's really interesting, of course, if you have a WooCommerce website and you want to give some discount codes, we are connected with the WooCommerce engine. So the coupon codes are distributed automatically. So again, you don't have to do something. And something that's really cool is that if you want to give away some company swag, like custom t-shirts or stickers with your own brand or socks, for example, we are directly integrated with a service called Startup Threads that you can go there to their website. You can order the t-shirts, the stickers with your own designs, and then you can connect it through Viral Loops because we have a direct integration, and then we manage the shipping and the fulfillment automatically.
Oh, that's very cool. I can well imagine a WP Builds t-shirt being built as soon as this call is over. That's great. What a great idea. Does it all come down in the end to creating an email list, though? Is that ultimately what we're trying to do? We're giving stuff away in a variety of different templated ways. But are we ultimately trying to gather an email list? Because email's proven to be successful. But is there something else apart from the email? Like, can we interact with these people on Twitter or Facebook through your platform? Or is it just dumping everybody's stuff in an email list, which you then need some sort of third-party solution to communicate with?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think gathering emails and increasing your user base or driving more sales is the first step, right? So the next step is that we want to help you identify your micro-influencers, as we call them. So what happens today is that a lot of brands, they pay, for example, well-known influencers to promote their brand, right?
Yep.
But what happens is that you don't know if you have a customer that he's not an influencer. Let's say that he doesn't have, 50,000 followers on Instagram, but he can affect 2 or 3 friends that he has to go and buy from you. So we want to give you this information. So what you can do after gathering this email list is that you can identify the connections and how these people are connected. If they're friends, for example, if someone referred the other. And when you do that, you will be able to identify these micro-influencers. You can segment them and run a different communication campaign to them. You can even, send them a Facebook message, for example, asking for some feedback or thank them for inviting 5 or 10 friends. And if you do that, and if you find these people and if you treat them right with the right way, they can get more and more people back to you. So it's always, driving emails and sales. But the next step, I think, is that you identify the connections of these people. And we call this the viral graph. So we're building on the back end these connections and how these people interact with each other, what channels they're using, like Facebook, like email, or Twitter, or LinkedIn, or SMS. And when you do that, you are able to take this data and drive more growth for your business and also identify these micro-influencers.
Is that... that's for a start. That sounds really cool because my experience so far with this type of marketing is that basically it has been about the list, and I've often wondered, it would be nice to extend that a little bit and to sort of reach out in a little bit more of a meaningful way than just blurting out, an email. So that's kind of cool. But is that in the product yet, or is that something that's coming soon?
No, it's something that is coming soon.
Right.
Currently, we give these tips to our clients that they're using. So through content, through webinars that we're doing. But it's something that, as I mentioned in the beginning, our whole approach is to put all of our marketing experience and expertise into the product. So we will automate everything and we will productize everything. So this is the idea.
I'm interested to know from your experience, because I've got a fairly mundane giveaway that I do, in that, it's the same every time. I'm interested to know, you run this platform, you must have seen examples where you thought, boy, that was a really clever way of doing it, that somebody's used viral loops in a really ingenious way, or they've given away something unexpected, or they've done something which worked really well. Have you got any of those tales to tell?
That's a nice question. Yeah, we see a lot of campaigns. Just before the reward part, I think one of the most common mistakes that a lot of people do is that they build their campaign, but they don't drive traffic to the campaign. So they may have, let's say, 10,000 people on their email list or on their website, but they don't somehow show it to them. And I think this is the first, so we call that the user adoption. So how many people from your user base, from your audience, know that you're running this campaign? So I think this is the first thing that you should do. And a very clever, of course, it's not our client, but I think if you want to take a lot of ideas from that, Airbnb does that very well. They don't run a sweepstake or a competition, but they run a referral program. And if you try to make a booking, you will see in every single corner of their website that they ask you to invite a friend.
Right.
So this is the first clever, thing that you can do if you want to run a successful marketing campaign, referral marketing campaign. So somehow find ways with widgets, with even specific pages, specific sections on your homepage to let people know that you're running this campaign. So this is the first thing. The second thing that I really like is that I mentioned that before with content. So a few months ago, actually back in July, Growth Tribe, a growth hacking academy based in Netherlands, they've launched the biggest growth marketing conference, the biggest online growth marketing conference. And they had companies from marketers from Hotjar, Typeform, Josh Spector from Banff, and a lot of great marketers there. And instead of giving away, I don't know, some like discounts or something like that, they were just giving away premium content. So they had a PDF guide with the 200 tools that they love. For example, they love using. They prepared some private demos with some tools and how you can hack them to get more out of them.
Right.
And so it didn't cost them anything, just of course their time.
Yeah.
And they just put their expertise and their content on the milestones, and it was huge because people, they don't just want to get, I don't know, something like a prize, like a mobile, like an iPhone or something. They want to get value, right? So the smartest thing that we see is that when companies understand what resonates with their audience, and when they do that, they create these kind of rewards. And if you're smart enough, I think that you can come up with rewards that can cost you almost nothing.
I think there's some really good advice in there, because the first point that you made about emailing the list about the new competition, I don't think I've ever done that. We've run maybe 10 competitions or something, and I've simply just posted it manually into Facebook, into our little Facebook group, and that's worked quite well actually. But it just occurs to me, yes, why not email the people who've obviously taken part in competitions before, because they're very likely to want to access another competition. So yeah, good advice. And also the idea of putting the widget, for want of a better word, the little the box where you submit your email address onto different pages, because we only position that on the competition page, whereas what you're saying from Airbnb is, well, just put it all over this place, and then it's likely to be seen more, and therefore entered more. So yeah, great advice. Thank you. I'll act on those again, hopefully, when this is finished. What
I can give you
what's coming up for you then? What's on your roadmap for the next, let's say the next period of time?
Yeah. So currently, because we have the templates, as I mentioned, but we're working on something really cool in order to help our clients even more and removing all the hassle of thinking of what can work for them. So we'll be creating something that we called, actually I can't tell you right now, but
Okay.
it will be, let's say, based on use cases. So we will we will understand, and we will ask you if you want, for example, to build your email list and you have a blog or you're writing content or you have an e-commerce website. And based on your answers and your needs, we will suggest you the exact templates that you need to use, how you should use them, and what actions you should take. So we will give you not just advice on how you can improve your referral program, but how, for example, you can drive more traffic to it. We will give you a lot of data, a lot of tips, a lot of advice, and everything will be directly from the product. So that's the one thing that we're working, and hopefully it will be ready in this quarter.
So at the moment, you have to click on boxes. You have to read the box, don't you? And you have to work out for yourself which of the 8 options is best suited for you. Whereas that you're going to flip that around. You're going to ask us the questions, and you're going to give us the right choice every time.
Exactly.
Nice.
And the second thing that we're working on, I think also it would be interesting for our audience today, is that currently you can integrate viral loops with WordPress, but it's a bit manually. But we offer a plugin for the template giveaway. So if you want to run a template giveaway, we have a WordPress plugin that it's, you just install the plugin and you configure the campaign. But right now we're working on a global plugin. And the idea is that you will be able to install one plugin just once, and then you will be able to choose the template and the use case that you want to run. So you will be able to install the refer a friend, the milestone inspired by Harry's, and everything. So all of our templates will be available directly integrated with WordPress.
So are you saying that you'll be able to create the Viral Loops campaign within WordPress, or you'll just be able to access more of what Viral Loop offers than the current plugin provides?
Yeah, as a first step, we will provide you with the option of adding a lot of campaigns.
Right.
You will need to build a campaign from Viral Loops inside.
Okay.
But we'll give you more options of putting more widgets and more customizations directly from WordPress.
Okay. So you'll be able to show it to particular audiences or show it on particular pages and all of that kind of stuff. Whereas at the minute, it's really just like a shortcode generator, isn't it? And you go in and it pops in the shortcode for you. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, specifically for our audience, that's very cool, and it's nice to know that you're backing WordPress for the future. Yeah, that's great. So what I should probably point out is I'm just looking at your website at your sort of pricing options, and I notice above the pricing table, you've got the option to try this out for free, and there's also an option to book a demo. What's the length of the free trial?
14 days.
Okay, right, great. And then the booking a demo, would that enable us to actually communicate with one of you guys and somebody explain to us how it all works?
Yeah, exactly. So just to mention that in our free trial, we have all of our features and all of our templates available, so you can try and understand the platform.
Okay.
For the demo, it's a one-on-one demo, and you will talk with one of our customer success experts. But we also have a webinar that we do that on a bi-weekly basis. So if you just visit, most probably you will be able to see that. And it's pretty interesting because we don't focus just on solving the product, but we show a lot of things around referral marketing and actionable tips on how you can run a successful campaign. Okay. So it's more educational rather than selling our product.
Yeah, I've not spotted that before, but I noticed it's at viral-loops.com/webinar if you wanted to go there. That's great. Thank you for coming on today and explaining to us about this product. Now, I can totally see that us being WordPress website builders, that this has got an application, especially if like me, you're constantly asked marketing questions from people who don't realize that really your expertise is in building websites and not in marketing. This might be a perfect thing to offer a client to sort of say, yes, we can do this for you and we'll set it all up for you and hopefully grow your email list. Now, just before the conversation began, we had a conversation in which Savvas said he would offer us a discount code. We haven't yet had the discussion about what that is or how long it'll last and so on. So just to say that if you look at the show notes, there'll be something related to that. So that's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much indeed. And anything else you want to say before we knock it on the head? Do you want to tell us where you are on Twitter? Or you haven't even mentioned where the website's located and the URL and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So you can find our website at viral-loops.com. We also have a very active blog, so it's you can read it at viral-loops.com/blog. We share everything there, and if you want to read my post, because I write a lot on social media, you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. So I share everything there. And I share actually, from marketing tips, from growth tips, and lessons learned from running my second startup, actually.
Well, very, very nice. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll move on to the next part of the podcast. Thanks, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon, Savvas.
Thank you so much, Nathan. Have a good one.
And our ending fact this time actually comes from a blog at the www.bluecorona.com site. And it's on an article. I'll need to scroll up to the top, sorry about this one, which is called 20 Web Design Facts Small Business Owners Should Know. And I really took us to one statistic on it, which was 44% of website visitors will leave a company's website if there's no contact information or telephone number. Do you think that?
Yeah, I think this. I don't know. I'm kind of the opinion that this is. I just always do it. I use the bar, if you like. The horizontal. I was going to say the horizontal row, but duh. I use the row that the logo is in most often, and float the telephone number to the right.
Yes,
that's generally speaking what I do, and that's just because I've seen everybody else doing it, and I'm guessing it's just become a bit of a thing to, if it's not there, you're gonna move on very quickly. Well, I can't be bothered to look for it I don't want to click on the contact page. I'm just going to go to the next result or click away from this one. I think that's probably quite reasonably true.
I think that's true, and probably for most local businesses it's essential, I would guess. But software companies where I go to a lot of their websites, I doubt there's a telephone number or contact. That's so obvious there. What made me laugh about this statistic, though, is that they say 44 will leave your website if there's no contact information. Does that mean then that 56% are going to stay on your website forever?
Yeah, not only that, but you're guaranteed to convert them. 50%. If all you've got to do is put your phone number on the top right of your website, not only will they never leave, but they're guaranteed to provide you with business. It's a complete no-brainer, Dave. I still think it's a good idea. When I do the questions at the beginning of the whole process of what people want out of their website, that is usually the case. Somewhere quite high up is we want more phone calls.
Yeah.
They're a brick and mortar store, or they've got they pay people to sit with telephones, and so we want to make use of them, and getting the phone number down everybody's throat is quite important.
I've got a question for our audience on this one, because I've always thought about this. I always sort of wince a little bit if somebody's only got a mobile phone number to put there.
Yes, I totally agree. It just seems completely illegitimate somehow. I don't know why. That's real. I don't know. It just sort of feels like you can't. You haven't got a landline?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's the same, though, with our US listeners. Maybe they could tell us.
I don't know. Yeah, I do. I find that highly dubious when I only see a mobile number, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, I've got a landline, so should you. Why should I pay for a landline and not you? Right, that's it, I think.
It is.
Perfect. Right, we will fade in the cheesy music. Thanks for listening again to the WP Builds podcast. Please give us a review on iTunes. We really appreciate those. And as I've said many times, my understanding is that the more frequent the reviews come in, the more likely it is to push our content down the throats of everybody on the planet. So, that's really what we want, isn't it? So, go and share it all over the place. Be most grateful. And we'll fade in the old cheesy music. I have been Nathan Wrigley.
And I've been David Walmsley.
Goodbye.
Bye.